Hello, hello, hello. I am Divine Radiance, and welcome to the Divine Radiance Podcast, a sacred space for real conversations about faith, healing, and awakening. Here we blend spirituality and psychology to help you remember who you are so that you can walk boldly in your divine purpose. If you are new here, welcome to the Divine Radiance family. We are so blessed to have you here. This is a space of light, love, and transformation. You are not here by coincidence. You are led here for a reason. So settle in, open your heart, and allow the messages to meet you where you are. Before we get into this week's message, I want us to take a few moments to engage in some deep breathing exercises to ground and center us so that we can open up our hearts, release resistance, and allow the messages to flow. I will guide you through these breathing exercises. All I ask is that you inhale through your nose and you exhale through your mouth. Let's begin. I want you to take a deep breath in and release. Take a deep breath in. I want you to breathe in patience. I want you to release as you're breathing out impatience. I want you to take a deep breath in as you inhale trust. I want you to release control. One last time, I want you to breathe in divine peace. And I want you to release letting go of everything trying to rush you. Now that your spirit is centered and your heart is open, let's delve into this week's message. So, the title of this week's message is Patience is a Virtue. Patience is a virtue. How many of us have patience? How many of us struggle with patience? What exactly is patience? The divine described patience as the process of learning how to wait on something while exhibiting self control. The process of learning how to wait on something while exhibiting self control. The dictionary defines patience as the ability to tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without becoming angry or upset. So it's similar because becoming without becoming angry or upset is practicing self-control. So the dictionary says patience is when you are able to tolerate delay, when you are able to tolerate trouble, when you are able to tolerate suffering without you becoming angry or upset. It also described patience as the capacity for calm perseverance and steady dedication. Divine patience is not passive. When we say that something is passive, it's allowance without resistance, it's allowance without input. It is when you simply just sit back and let something happen, right? Divine patience is not that. It requires input, it requires something from you, right? It is a sacred participation in the rhythm of God's timing. So, divine patience means that I am going to exercise self control while I trust in God's timing. It is the posture of peace while you're still in the process. Ooh, don't we love the process? The process, right? It is the posture of peace while you're still in the process, whatever that process is. That's what patience is. Oftentimes, we believe that patience means we don't do anything, and that's not true. Patience means you do what you can with grace while you trust God to do what you can't. That's what patience means. It means I'm going to do what I can with grace while I wait for God to do what I can't. Patience is the art of holding on. It is the sacred art of remaining anchored when everything in your flesh wants to run ahead. The flesh wants what it wants. So it's going to convince you that waiting, you're going to miss out on something. So it's going to cause you to want to run ahead and put your hands in things and make decisions. But patience is like, nah, I need you to just hold on a little bit longer, right? Because it is in your best interest. Galatians 5:22 reminds us that patience is one of the fruits of the Spirit. Patience is evidence of spiritual maturity. Patience transforms waiting into worship. It's important what you do while you're waiting, right? So you can't wait and be upset. You can't wait and be negative Nancy. You can't wait and complain. You can't wait and be nasty and evil and mean to other people. While you wait, you are worshiping. While you wait, you are praying. While you wait, you are doing what you can. It is not about delay, but it is about divine preparation. Because if God is making you wait on something, that means He's preparing you for whatever it is that He has in store for you. Virtue means moral excellence, it is a quality that reflects divine character. So when we say patience is a virtue, we are saying that patience is more than just a trait. It is a divine strength, a reflection of God's nature within us. So you're probably wondering, why is patience so important? Patience is important because it builds endurance. Not just the ability to wait, but the strength to wait well. Romans chapter 5, 3 through 4 reminds us that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. Every delay becomes divine training ground for endurance. Patience also teaches us good character. We live in a microwave generation. What does that mean? We live in a generation where we want everything to happen now, right now. We don't want to wait. And so that is known as instant gratification. We want what we want now and we want it right now. And oftentimes we mistake instant gratification for divine favor, which is not the same. Patience teaches you to wait on things because we often rush into things and don't exercise wisdom because we've become so impulsive. We don't know how to wait, and so we're going to do and make it do what it do. But the kingdom of God doesn't operate in microwave miracles. It operates in maneration, where faith has time to deepen and roots have time to grow. You let it marinate. That's what the kingdom of God looks like. Waiting is often seen as a form of punishment. Most of us think that when God is making us wait, oh, He's just punishing me. He just don't want me to have it. But it is not a form of punishment. It is preparation ground for your nest. It is where you learn to stretch your faith wings before you take flight. It is where you are refined, strengthened, and shaped for what is ahead of you. We know that we serve an intentional God. And so if He is making you wait, that means there's purpose behind that wait. Patience is where you learn to soar. Okay? Isaiah 40:31 declares, "But they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount upon wings as eagle and soar." So when you learn patience, you stop flapping your wings so that you can soar. What does patience do? Right? Patience is not weakness. Most of us don't like to wait because we feel like I need to get this on my own. Patience is not weakness. It is spiritual fire under control. Patience ignites fire in you. It teaches you to rest in the divine. It teaches you trust. It teaches you how to surrender, right? To have no control but to surrender. It teaches you good character. It teaches you self control. It nourishes your soul and it builds your muscle for purpose. It prepares you for divine timing. Our time is not our time. We base it on God's time. God is going to release whatever you are hoping and praying for when He sees that it is needed and not when you want it. Sometimes we get that messed up. Oh, I want this, I want that, I want that. God said you're going to get it when you need it and not when you want it. Through patience, you learn that progress doesn't always look like movement, right? So sometimes we get upset because we don't see anything moving. So we think that, oh, I might as well count myself out. And that's not true because patience doesn't always see progress, right? Sometimes it looks like stillness. We talked about that on episode 2. Sometimes it's alignment and sometimes it's obedience. Maybe God just wants you to wait. It's teaching you how to wait, right? So that He can build your character. Sometimes patience is just being still and not doing anything. James 1:4 reminds us that let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, waiting and wanting nothing. Every waiting season is a spiritual gym where God builds the muscle of your purpose. Slow and steady wins the race. We know that. So then why don't we want to practice slow and steady? Because consistency and trust always outlast impulsivity and fear. All right? Because when we rush and do something, it's because we fear that if we don't do it right now, we miss out on an opportunity. And often we rush into things that are hard to get out. What are the consequences of being impatient? When we grow impatient, we often create consequences that could have been avoided. Haven't we all been there? Impatience makes us act outside of divine timing. Sometimes we're reaching for things that are not ready, or we're walking through doors that God hasn't yet opened. There's a difference between a good door and a God door. And so when you are impatient, you're going to run into a good door and you don't know what's behind it versus waiting to walk through a God door where there's divine protection. Don't go putting your hands in stuff just because you're too impatient to wait on God because you're going to suffer the consequences. Many times, what you think you want and what you rush to get will end up being detrimental to your peace, your purpose, and your destiny. There are so many people that walk through doors that they thought was perfect opportunities and they are living with regret because they rushed into something because they were exercising impatience. Why? Because when you are impatient, it blinds wisdom, right? It blinds you to wisdom. It births frustration, anxiety, and unnecessary struggle. It causes you to settle for substitutes instead of waiting for God's best. You pick something because you think it's good and don't know what's on the other side when God had a whole table, a whole buffet for you. You settled for a meal when God had a buffet for you. He had his best was better than what you had in mind, but because you don't want to wait, you rushed and got yourself into something, and now you're dealing with stress, frustration, and anxiety because you just couldn't wait. Every time you move ahead of God, you step into a version of the blessing that hasn't been blessed. So instead, focus. Tune into God. We talked about that on episode 2. Tune into God. Wait for His divine direction. His delays are never denials. His delays are never a denial, they are protection. Rejection is God's protection. His delay is a protection. What's meant for you will never require you to rush to keep it. Remember that. What's meant for you will never require you to rush to keep it. So, how exactly do we build, develop, and cultivate patience? Patience is like a seed, right? You don't wish for it, you cultivate it. When you ask for patience, you're really asking to be refined through process, right? So God answers not with shortcuts, but with opportunities for you to grow. Don't we know that? You ask God for patience, He's going to give you every scenario that's going to test your patience. Why? Because in that testing, you develop patience. The same patience God shows toward you daily is the grace that He's inviting you to mirror to other people. Okay? God shows you patience. Turn around and give it to somebody else. Maybe you're a little too short and irritable with your children. Ask for patience. Maybe you can't get along with your boss because they trying to micromanage you. Ask for patience. Maybe you've been praying and manifesting things into your life, yet nothing is coming through. Ask for patience. Maybe your spouse or your partner is getting on your last nerve. Ask for patience. Ask God to give you the same patience that He shows you. Ask Him to grant you that patience so that you can walk in His likeness. You exercise patience by exercising self control. Self control is the foundation of patience. Every time you resist reacting impulsively, you strengthen your spiritual discipline. You understand that divine timing is always the best, right? I hope you know that. Divine's timing is always the best. Why? Because He knows all and He sees all. Divine timing protects you from premature exposure. Understand the need to wait in some seasons for seeds to sprout. There is nowhere where you plant something and the next day it grew. It takes patience. We want to plant something today. We might want to come back in the evening and think it grew already, or come back the next day and think it grew already. God is saying, no, you have to wait because sometimes some of the things that you're planting, it takes seasons for it to sprout. Every seed needs the right season to sprout. And patience keeps you from digging up what God is still watering. When you exercise patience, that's what you're doing. You're not digging up what God is still watering. While you're waiting, I want you to change your focus. Because sometimes we're sitting there just looking, when you going to grow? When you going to sprout? You got to change your focus. Shift your perspective. Shift your mindset. As you wait, be productive. Focus on what is within your control and release what you can control. Make sure to engage in spiritual hygiene and rhythms to keep you encouraged so that the enemy can come in and mess with your mind, discourage you, or deter you. Because remember that your mind is the control center of your body, right? What you think affects how you feel affects how you behave. So while you're waiting, if you're not keeping your mind occupied, if you're not keeping your mind busy, you allow space for the enemy to come in and mess with your mind and cause you to be discouraged and cause you to want to move impulsively. Proverbs 16:27 in the Living Bible translation says, idle hands are the devil's workshop. Idle lips are his mouthpiece. Don't give the enemy an idle space to speak into your waiting season. Why? All he gonna do is cause confusion and deter you. While you wait, I want you to feed and nourish your soul. Why? Because your soul requires care in the in between. While you're waiting, you gotta take care of your soul because if not, the doubt comes in, the questioning comes in. So you got to take care of your soul. How do you do so? You got to rest. You got to worship. You got to get out in nature. You got to laugh. Laughter is good for the soul. All of these things, you got to meditate. You got to journal. You got to dance. You got to connect with loved ones. All of these things are forms of divine nourishment. Patience thrives in a nourished spirit. So as you wait, I want you to fill your cup with what uplifts you and what sustains you. Divine purpose requires divine timing. Timing requires patience. Patience is a virtue because it's a necessity, a life skill that must be mastered. Patience is often challenging because of comparison to other people. We compare to ourselves to others and then we get discouraged and then we want what they have because why didn't they have to wait and I have to wait for it? You have to remember that your journey is structured and formatted specific for you. You must learn how to wait on the Lord as He pieces your life together piece by piece. Patience is not optional in purpose. It is a divine necessity. Every purpose unfolds in its appointed time. When we compare our timelines to someone else's reel, someone else's social media, we are robbing ourselves of divine joy. You don't think nothing's wrong with you until you look at somebody else who has more and then you realize they got more than you. And now you start questioning because you were happy with what you had and you thought you had it all until you saw someone with more. And so when you compare yourself, you are robbing yourself of divine joy. You have to remember that your story is handcrafted by the divine. He is the potter, right? And so he is crafting you. Your story is handcrafted. Your process is intentional. While we're waiting, God is weaving. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verses 8, one of my favorite scriptures says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. The end is always greater because it carries wisdom, resilience, and proof of endurance. Patience turns waiting into worship and time into testimony. In closing, I want you to remember that patience is your proof of trust. It shows that you believe God's plan is better than your timeline. He knows best. Every moment of waiting is an invitation to build faith, character, and strength for what is coming. As always, I would like to leave you with a reflective prompt that I want you to sit with. I want you to journal. I want you to talk to God about. This week's reflective prompt is, where is God inviting me to be patient right now? And what is He trying to develop in me through the wait? One more time. Where is God inviting me to be patient right now? And what is He trying to develop in me through the wait? As always, please remember that new episodes of Divine Radiance Podcast premieres every Sunday on YouTube. Please tune in each week. If this message blessed you, please subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notification button so you know when the messages are posted. Subscribe, like, share, and please leave a comment. Your reflection might be the reminder someone needs today. Thank you for all of you who have been tuning in weekly. Those that are new, thank you. Please share. Please get this message out. I thank you so much for always showing up. Until next time, may you walk in radiant love, anchored, awakened, and free. Shalom.